If you live anywhere where the temperature gets below 32 degrees, you know all about winterization. But did you know that there are certain things that you also have to do when you winterize that if you don't, can actually ruin your RV? In this video, we're going to share with you tips that will teach you what you need to do in addition to winterization for your RV. Now, the first thing that you should do after you winterize is make sure that you thoroughly wash and clean your RV. Give the exterior a good washing and do a good deep clean of the interior. When we're camping, we get dirt, all kinds of grime, we get tree sap, we get campground dust, we get sand depending where you are, all on the surface of the paint of our RV. If you store it with those particles on the paint, you can do damage to your paint. They can dig in, scratch it up, cause damage. So before you store it, wash it thoroughly. And for the interior, you want to make sure that you take out all of your food products and you want to make sure that you clean it thoroughly. This will help you when you return to your RV to have a nice clean environment to go to, but also it will help keep away mice. And if you're looking for prevention tips and ways to keep mice out of your RV, we have a video for that right up there.
Yeah, it's over here.
Check it out. It's very thorough.
Also, you'll want to change your RV oil and filter.
When your RV sits, the oil doesn't circulate like it does when you're driving your car. It just kind of drains down to the bottom of the engine. Now, there are byproducts of combustion in that oil, which then will sit inside of your engine. You don't want that in your RV when you start it up after it's been sitting. This can cause your engine to seize when you first start it up. So be sure to change your oil and your oil filter before you store your RV for the winter.
If you don't drive your RV for a long period of time, the fuel in your system can coagulate. And for storage, this is going to require you to add a fuel stabilizer, especially if you're going to store for a very long time.
When you don't run your engine for a long period of time, gas can coagulate, changing into a semi-solid state, which is like a gel-like consistency. This is because the gas tank is not airtight, and a process called oxidation begins in your tank. After you add the fuel stabilizer, make sure you top off your tanks right away. And then take your RV out on the road for about 10 to 15 minutes so that mixture of fuel and stabilizer can work through the engine and get into your fuel injectors, your fuel filter, and your fuel lines.
If you can, you want to try to drive your RV at least once every 2 weeks. It'll get the shocks and other suspension parts moving. It'll also get all those fluids in the engine all warmed up and moving around.
Our next tip is to make sure that you fill up your RV tires to the maximum recommended manufacturer air pressure rating. This is because tires go through a process called osmosis. This osmosis causes your tires to lose air pressure. When the tire loses air pressure and sits for a long time, you can get something called flat tire. If you've ever seen a car that's been sitting for a long period of time, you ever see that flatness on the tire?
Yeah.
That's what can happen. But if you put extra air in your tires, then this really isn't as much of an issue. Now, you also want to make sure that when you come back to your RV, when you're ready to open it back up for the spring camping season, that you go ahead and you air down if necessary or air up. Just make sure you check those tire pressures. And if you're curious about all the things that you need to do when you open up your RV for the spring, we have a video that covers that right up here as well.
If you're parking on gravel or grass for the winter, make sure you put planks under your tires and make sure that they're wide enough to support the entire tire.
Our final tire tip is that you want to make sure you cover your tire. You should cover your tire when you're going to store it for the winter, but also you should cover it in between your trips during every other month. And that is because UV rays can be very hazardous to your tire. Tire covers serve as a protective barrier to the rain, to the snow, and to the sun, which can eat away at your tires while they're stationary. And as you know, RV tires aren't cheap. Make sure you protect those windshield wipers too. Some people put covers on them, but you can also just kind of stick some padding, balled up towel, whatever, underneath the arm of the windshield wiper, and that will allow it to hang down. When it's sitting on your windshield, it starts to take that form of the windshield. You ever notice when you use your wipers and you get that kind of screechy kind of sound with it? You know what I'm talking about, right, John? Don't look at me like I'm crazy, John. I know you know what I'm talking about.
It's not the sound, really.
It's what?
It's the streaks. Okay.
No, but John knows what I'm talking about. Tell him what I'm talking about, John.
When your wipers get that curve in them, they may not be as efficient when they come up across your windshield, and they will cause streaks of water to remain.
What he said.
Yes.
And so putting that padding underneath is a really inexpensive way to prevent that curvature.
All you need is a little separation between the wiper and the windshield so that it rests free.
And you are good. Let us know what your winterization and storage tips are. And if you're looking for a video about how to winterize your RV, check out this video right here on John's face.